The book I'm reviewing today, I got through in 6 hours because it was that good. So, just saying, just throwing that out there. I was thinking, what can I do during this time of mass panic and toilet paper shortages to make people feel a little better? And I thought, well, I really like to read, and maybe someone else out there likes to read, so I could give book reviews. And that is what I'm here to do. Today, I will be reviewing Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng. And I will just start off by saying that this was a fantastic book. My friend Leela told me about it a while ago, and she's in a creative writing program at our local arts school, so I knew it had to be good. And boy, oh boy, was it. I really, really enjoyed not only the gorgeous writing, Celeste Ng knows what she's doing, but also the characters and the plot were both great, which is kind of rare. Often you get either a really in-depth character study with very little going on, or you get too much going on and you care about literally no one in the book. But I found this one to be a fantastic balance. So, the New York Times says that this book is, quote, a deep, heartfelt portrait of a family. And that it most certainly is. I felt it was not only a good depiction of a family in general with age differences and life experience, but also a family that is multiracial. So my family is also multiracial. My sister Abby is adopted from China, and because of that, I related to this book a lot because the family in this book is Chinese American, and they are living in the 1970s and in a small town in Ohio. And obviously, the world was not great in terms of accepting interracial couples back then. So they have that external challenge, but they also have a lot going on within the family that's causing tension. So this is not a spoiler-free review, just reminding you of that before we head in. Okay, so this book starts off, like a lot of other books, saying that blank is dead. But this one did it better? I don't know. It was beautifully done. I cared about the character who died, Lydia, immediately, not only because of the descriptions that her family provided of her, but also you get little flashbacks where you get to dive into Lydia's mind, and those are really fascinating. Moving on to just the writing style of this book, it's really subtle, and it's really stunning. She doesn't use a lot of figurative language in the sense that it makes the writing muddy, but she uses just enough to grab your interest and allow you to visualize what's going on, and that, I think, is the mark of a truly phenomenal writer. So I will definitely be reading her other novel, which is called Little Fires Everywhere. I believe it's going to be a TV show, or it currently is a TV show. And I think Reese Witherspoon's in it, which is just another reason that I want to watch it. But I will definitely be checking that out because she has just incredibly well-written characters. So not only are the adults in the book written well, as I would expect from an adult author, but I felt the children were incredibly realistic. And I enjoyed that so much because nowadays you get books that depict young people as naive or stupid, like they're not world-wise yet, but that doesn't mean they have to be two-dimensional, you know what I mean? And I felt this book especially did a good job handling young characters, particularly Lydia's little sister, whose name is Hannah. And Hannah is in the 5th grade, and she's super cute, she's super insightful, she has a lot of intuition, which I appreciated because it showed the layers that can be in characters as young as her. And she was just, I related to her more than anyone else in the book. And I'm probably the furthest away from her age, apart from her parents, than any other character. So I think that's saying a lot. Lastly, just going back to how much I related to this book, they talk about differences within the family. And those differences aren't necessarily ideological or to do with values, but really, really surface level. in terms of the mom in the family, whose name is Marilyn. She is Caucasian, and the father, James, is Asian American. And that causes a lot of strife in their family after Lydia's death because they blame themselves for her potential bullying or lack of friends, partially on the fact that she was multiracial and she was the only Asian girl in her school. And I felt this was just a really powerful statement because we don't get stories about minorities in the late 1900s that much, especially in contemporary literature. And I really enjoyed reading about the struggles they faced. And they also seemed really applicable to today. As I mentioned, my sister, Abby, she is 14 and thriving. And I really related to a lot of what Celeste Ng engraved into this family's story, like the looks they get from other people, and I'm sure they were a lot more intense, obviously, in the 1970s than they are today. But I've been at restaurants and had people kind of take a second look at my family because Abby obviously doesn't look exactly like the rest of us. And when I was younger, I'd never even noticed it. But as I've gotten older and learned a little bit more about the world around me, I've learned that it's not entirely conventional to have a sibling that doesn't have your same genetic code. So I thought Celeste Ng did a beautiful job capturing sort of that idea, just the idea of standing out, of not quite fitting in, of being different. And it was gorgeous. Lastly, I would just say this book had a twist in it that I was not expecting whatsoever, and I'm usually pretty good at the twists. I usually stop reading mysteries halfway through because I kind of have an idea of who done it, but this one is clearly not a mystery. It's just there's kind of an enigmatic air surrounding Lydia's death, and I thought I knew what was going on, guys, and I was off. So I would suggest this book to practically anyone. It's not exactly a happy-go-lucky read, per se, but it's such an in-depth look at human connection and relationships as well as individualism, and I adored it. So that being said, go read this while you're stuck at home. My thoughts go out to anyone affected by this pandemic or trapped because of the snow. And have an awesome day. I'll see you next time.